Hi, I'm James from the Tuesday Review, and I'm here with Sam Robson, or Robson,
that's it.
and she just played her game with us, Seasons of Magic.
That's the one.
Yeah, and she was one of the finalists of the, what was the competition called?
It's the Basic Role-Playing Design Challenge by Chaosium.
Can you explain the basic role-playing and how you transfer that into your game?
A little bit. Basic role-playing is a very big game with a lot of like modular options, but the core of it and the bit that I was using is it's a D100 system, and you have to roll equal to or under your stats. It's the very simple heart of it. I adapted that by for my game about witches, by adding, different like little bits of magic you can use, different spells you can apply to give yourself bonuses throughout the game, beyond just like, you roll a brawn roll to like push something away.
So the BRP is just the framework.
Yeah.
It's the basic rules of how, what the roles do and stuff like that. And then you came in with your world of the witches and magic, and you laid that on top and built that around.
Yeah, it's like a framework that anyone can use and adapt, because of the very open license it has. But yeah, you summed it up.
Yeah.
You got this framework, you put a different game on it and adapt it where you need to.
Did you have a background in writing or art or anything creative like that? How did you get to...
So I've liked story writing since I was pretty young, but before I made this game, I had a background in making smaller games. So I've made a lot of pamphlet or one-page RPGs, which was just really a natural evolution of writing stories, I guess, because I wrote stories. I got into tabletop games, and I'm like, well, I can write for the games as well. But this is definitely the biggest project I've worked on.
So how did you go from the initial idea to, I'm going to use the BRP, to now I'm in the competition and I've...
Yeah, so when I heard there was a competition, I'd been tossing around this basic idea for a while. I wanted a game that was about healing and maybe a little bit sad but hopeful as well. And I think the witches element, I don't actually remember where that came from specifically, but I like magic. So yeah, pretty early on when I saw there was the challenge, I just kind of put an idea together. It wasn't finished at all by the time I submitted it. So I guess that's a lesson. If the challenge comes up again, you can win it just based on a really cool concept.
That's something we've been talking about with others, about how sometimes you just got to make it and then put it out there and not worry about if it's perfect or if it's 100%. It just do it and get it out there, and then you can get feedback. And
exactly, mine's still in playtesting. The playtest version was released a week or two ago, and before that it was just me and my friends playing it. So very much a long way to go with this game.
Okay, so it's still in early stages. How have you found your time here at Chaosium Con, and when you have played it? What's the feedback been like? What's the reaction been like?
It's been generally pretty positive. Yes, Saturday's game went off the rails a little bit. The one we played today was a little bit more like what I'd expect, but you've been really nice about the game. I guess so, it's solidified for me. So the version we played today is actually has a significant difference from the version that's currently up on RPG, because I realized yesterday there was a very important change I needed to make. So previously, most games, there was I guess free play where you talk and do whatever, and then there was a combat section. But the more I tested this, especially with people I didn't know as well, the more I realized that it didn't need to be distinct. Especially once I brought in this mechanic that each time you fail, I get an extra move I can use against you later. So yeah, today was the first time playing it without a distinct challenge, I guess, phase of play, and I thought it actually worked. It was really well. I think it was a lot smoother.
What I liked about playing the game is because most of the time when we play RPGs and stuff like that, there is a combat element.
Yeah.
And I like this game. It's more about helping the village, healing, and not necessarily it's not a violent thing, or there's no combat necessarily.
Nah, and I'm glad you like that, because
Yeah.
that's really what I wanted to achieve, like a game that was about finding solutions to problems without necessarily just killing them, but like having different ways to approach that. So like, sometimes you need to like reason with someone, sometimes you need to just like empathize with their situation and sit with them for a moment. Sometimes you do need to punch someone out, but it's not too often.
Yeah. What I liked as well, maybe we'll show this closer in the edit, but with your character sheets, they're really easy to read is one thing. Did you design these?
No, so they were designed by an artist called Alderdoodle, which I know my accent's bizarre, so it's ALDER and then doodle like drawing. Who posts a lot of like character sheet templates up for free on the Ko-Fi.
Oh, cool.
But some of because you mentioned, obviously I won some money from Chaosium from the challenge. Some of that went towards like commissioning this beautiful custom sheet.
Nice.
Which is just for this game.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I like the layout, but also what I like is because you've got not only your standard RPG reflexes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Witch lore or whatever. Witches have like an animal or something, so that's cool. And you've got your backstory and stuff like that too, which is fun. My thing with RPGs is I love the world building.
Yeah.
When you thought of this, was it more just, do you have like a bigger idea of the world, or is it just like more about the gameplay?
There absolutely is a world. So normally, this is my first time running it at a convention. The game is more designed to be run around a journey that goes across several months or even years. And so like so people know like what they're actually doing. There's a lot of lore about like the world and how spirits fit into it, the different towns. But for like a one shot at a convention, I didn't want to be like read my lore book.
Yeah.
So I was just like, we'll just run it and people can like pick up off the vibes. But there's very much like a decent chunk of even the playtest, and more so the whole book when it's released is dedicated to like explaining the world. And
that's the stuff I love. I also like the potions and the different types of magic you can do, which hopefully they can see that.
Cute little borders. I like the cauldron.
Yeah, and the little mushroom toadstools are cool. So that's fun too. What kind of research did you do? Is this just all from your imagination, or did you go like, I'm going to look at actual old texts or other media like movies or games or?
So a lot of it, I guess, was like just from like my own, like pop culture, like tropes and things about witches and stuff. The thing with the spirits and the familiars, I was kind of reading a bit about like medieval witchcraft, or like and how the familiar spirit, which I guess in the modern day we more think of as like, a witch has a little animal sidekick. But originally it was actually where they got their magic from. It was the creature that they made the deal with.
Oh, yes.
And so, I was like, I think it was meant to be like a devil or, something bad. But I latched onto that. It's like so the familiar, because I love the vibe, is really important. You get your magic from it. You have this like, this important relationship that you can play off.
Yeah, it's your patron or whatever. It's not necessarily your pet or something like that.
Looks like your pet, but it is like,
So do you have a background in the creative space?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned earlier I've like always liked writing and things like that, like story writing, creative writing, in high school, like won some little school awards and stuff. But it's only recently that I've started working on tabletop games, like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And this game I've only been working on for about a year. Which, it seems like a decent chunk of time, but I think in the lifespan of a game that's going to be a few hundred pages eventually, it's like, it's still got quite a way to go. So I'm still learning, but I do have a bit of a background, and that's made it easier.
Well, you've got a strong playable game here already.
Thank you.
How long do you think, like percentage-wise, how far along are you for the completed?
It's tricky because there's some things like, obviously I want to, when I release the whole thing, I want to have an adventure with it, a journey. And so like playtesting the journey takes a bit more time because I have to get my group to like play it, and then so maybe like anywhere between like 30 and 50%, depending on how I look at it.
Okay, yeah.
But I guess
that could change at any time when you think of something else or get feedback. Yeah.
It's actually like, it's definitely feeling more complete now than I thought it was even a couple of days ago. So like it can all like just change based on like responses and what kind of mood I'm in regarding the game.
Exactly, yeah. So you mentioned you had like past playing RPGs. Do you have a specific memory of either like a really good campaign or something that went horribly wrong or like a really good role you had or something like that?
I have a few of those. The first RPG campaign I played in, I died in the final combat. Ooh. And it was just like, it was D&D, so it was rolling a natural one and then I was dead. But like, it wasn't really that gaming experience, I think, that influenced like this. What influenced this was trying to play a character that did things other than violence in games that were all about violence, and then being like, well, I can't do this, but I want a game that can do this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think one thing we've talked about with people before is, especially when you get older, you lose your sense of play and imagination.
Yeah.
And it's good when you sort of play tabletops or some of these board games or card games or whatever, and it's like it ignites that imagination that you don't really use anymore.
Because I don't think I ever lost that. I was thinking about this the other day. There was an article or something I read when someone was talking about remembering when they started seeing their dolls as just dolls and being like, oh, that's lifeless, it's not real. And like, that was like a big moment for them. For me, it's just like, I don't know. I remember being like 12, so a bit older than most, and like still like telling stories and acting out scenarios. Like I knew they weren't real, but I could still get into that space. And like, yeah. But it's definitely nice to find like, I guess, a appropriate, adult
outlet,
outlet to like play these games with people.
Yeah, no, it's good too because with your game it's not combat oriented. So we talk about on the show before like promoting empathy through the arts and like getting people to open up and maybe be a bit more vulnerable than they'd usually be in their normal lives, just by pretending to be a different character or pretending to be in a world that they're not actually in. Yeah.
And hey, empathy's a stat in this. So.
Yes.
Tabletop is rehabilitation.
Yeah, tabletop is. Yeah, we talked about that before. As tabletop is rehabilitation and helping people to sort through, hard times in their life and stuff like that. So I think that's a good game. Not only is this a good game to have fun with, but I think it can be like a healing experience, especially if you don't really want to sit down and like fight orcs and stuff. And it's more like, there's more a sense of fun and adventure and helpfulness.
See, I did want it to be like, I guess to have a sense of healing about it and like also being like, it's a little bit sad but also hopeful. So I'm glad that that's come across.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any advice for creators who, haven't like started or haven't put out their stuff yet? Like any advice you can give them?
Well, it depends. If you're coming from like a creator who's made some stuff but isn't confident about putting it out there, just put it out there. Like some of my early stuff was not my best, but if it's digital especially, you can always go back and fix it. And if people are nervous, if they want to make a game and they don't know where to start, the best advice I ever got was just to like read and play lots of different games.
Yeah.
So like there's so many different kinds of role-playing games out there. There's like diceless ones that are very just like about telling a story together. There's ones that have like rules for every single thing you can do and it's all about dice. There's like, classes versus playbooks. And I think it's good to learn about all these different ways you can put a game together when you're making your own games.
Yeah, definitely. I think also with having the BRP, you have a framework to launch off of. So if you're unsure about where I'm going to get all my rules and stuff,
exactly.
You don't have to focus on that. You can just focus on the world you want to create and the experience you want to create.
Yeah, and the great thing, like, because I made this, I own the basic role-playing core book now. I didn't when I started making this, but they do have the free rules available online, which, are pretty, like, they're really, accessible. You just download them and then you've got them. But yeah, and it was a really good starting point. Obviously for the basis of the system, but then like even then there were little elements that came in from like other games and like experiences to make it your own and not just be like this is just basic role playing and we haven't changed anything, you might as well just have the core book.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's making the experience your own, but also giving the players flexibility to create their own world and use their imagination. Where can people find you online?
So I'm Sam Robson. Most places you can find me on itch is I think samrobson.itch.io. I'm on DriveThruRPG. I have a Blue Sky. That's my main one for all my updates. That one's dungeonofthedраgon.bsky.social. And yeah, those are the best places to find me.
Yeah, we'll put all the links in the description. Before we let you go, we usually on the show we like to review movies and TV shows.
Okay.
So that's our main focus. We like to ask everyone, gut feeling, no wrong answers, favorite movie of all time.
My gut feeling is What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's my favorite comedy and my favorite vampire movie.
Yeah,
So
that's a good one. Yeah, good answer. Thanks so much. We really appreciate it.
oh, thank you. It's been really lovely.
Not enough for you.
Oh, someone's getting really into it over there.
I think we cut that.